one of the benefits of Power Query is the way that it has the audit trail built in. Basically, it documents your steps as you're going through them. But even within the documentation provided in Power Query, sometimes it's not the easiest to figure out one step from the other. For example, if we say rename columns or change type, that's kind of generic. Which columns did we rename? Why, which types did we change? Why did we change them? Those types of things. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to add additional documentation to Power Query to make life easier for yourself and for anybody else who might inherit your reports. The steps that I go through can be used in Power Query when you're working with Power BI, as well as Power Query when you're working with Excel. So the first thing you want to make sure and do is to make sure that every single query has a name that's descriptive. You want to be able to look at that query and immediately know what that query was supposed to do. And so you have a couple of ways of renaming your query. You can come here under properties, simply highlight this, replace it with the name that you want. Or on the left-hand side of your screen, you can right-click the name of the query, left-click rename, and rename it here. You can also use the F2 key, which works to edit a cell in Excel. You can use that shortcut here as well, okay? So that's how you rename the query itself. Then within the query, you can also rename the steps and you can describe a particular step. So let's go through how you do that. To rename a step, you can simply right-click and hit rename, or you can highlight the step and use the F2 key to rename it. Now, if you want to rename it and add a description, you can right-click and go to Properties. And then here you can type in the new name. I'm going to leave that name as is. And then here you can type in whatever you want your description to be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So when I hit OK on this, now you see there's a little information icon that lets you know that there's a description attached to that particular cell. When you hover over it, you can actually read the description on your screen without having to go into the properties, okay? But wait, there's more. If you go to the View tab on your ribbon and click the Advanced Editor button, what this does is it gives you all of the steps in the transformation. But anything that's a documentation shows up in green with these two forward slashes before it, okay? So let's say you want to actually provide your client or, your coworker or whatever with a document that kind of lists out in plain English what each step does. All you have to do is go in here, make sure you put in descriptions, go to Advanced Editor, use the Control-A shortcut to select everything, copy it and paste it into a Word document or whatever the case may be, do some minor editing, and now you have full documentation of what this particular Power Query transformation is supposed to do. So whether you're doing it for future use so that you sometime in the future can be reminded of what your steps are, or you're doing it to share with a client or a coworker, I encourage you to always document your Power Query transformations as a best practice. And remember that this is something that not only works in Power BI, but also works in the Power Query editor in Excel. Hope you found this video helpful. I would love your input in the comments below. And if you have any questions about this, please share that as well. Thank you so much for watching.